We make decisions on a daily basis. Some decisions are big, some are small, but all of them impact our lives in their own way. In today's video, we'll talk about a study regarding decision making and discuss how we can make better life decisions. Before we start discussing the study, it's important that we touch a bit on how we make decisions. In 2011, Daniel Kahneman published a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. It discussed about two ways that our brain forms thoughts. First is System 1. It is described as fast, automatic, frequent, emotional, and unconscious, while System 2 is slow, effortful, logical, and conscious. Small decisions normally fall within System 1 as they require little to no effort when making them. In today's video, we'll discuss about System 2, how to decide better on life-changing decisions. In 2008, an article was published by Kristina L from the University of Hawaii, West Oahu, with the title, Decide, a decision-making model for more effective decision-making by healthcare managers. It defined a step-by-step process for decision-making, and the model is developed to aid healthcare managers in making more quality decisions. This is an interesting article. Although it was written for healthcare professionals, we can also follow it in making hard life choices. As we know, healthcare professionals like doctors and nurses make critical decisions daily, which can impact someone else's life. Decide is an acronym which stands for one of 6 activities that must be carried out before proceeding to the next step. Number 1. Define the problem. Number 2. Establish the criteria. Number 3. Consider all the alternatives. Number 4. Identify the best alternative. Number 5. Develop and implement a plan of action. Number 6. Evaluate and monitor the solution. Number 1. Define the problem. You can't decide on something if you do not understand it first. Is it really a problem that needs to be solved? Do you really need to make a decision about it? This is the first step, understanding what the problem is. Before you can make a good decision, you need to clearly identify what it is you're trying to solve. You must ask yourself why you need to make a decision about it. What is pushing you to decide? Let's consider the decision-making process of buying a new car as an example. Ask yourself if you really need a new one, or is it only because your neighbor bought a new one? Is your old one not good enough anymore? In this decision, you need to identify first if you really need to make a decision now, meaning buy a new car, or can it still be delayed, meaning you still have a good enough old car. Once you have concluded that yes, I need to buy a new one, because of valid reasons, then you can proceed to step 2. Number 2. Establish the criteria. This step answers the question, what do you want to achieve with this decision? Also, you need to identify what you want to preserve and which problems you want to avoid. Define what you want to achieve in making this decision. In our example of buying a new car, you might want to get a more reliable form of transportation and the safety features that comes with new car models. Identify what you want to preserve. What do you love about your old car? Maybe you want to include that in your checklist of the features you want in the new car you'll be looking for. Also, identify which are the features lacking in your old car that you would love to have. Number 3. Consider all the alternatives. Once you have established the criteria of what you want and what to avoid, you can start checking all alternatives. This step can also be named as information gathering. Going back to our example of buying a new car, there are so many choices of cars nowadays. Read reviews to give you a better idea of which car suits you best. Do you prefer a sedan or an SUV? Check which cars have all the features that you want. Furthermore, do you really need a brand new one, or would a newer used model be enough? Also, take time to look for the best deals. If you're considering a car loan, it would be best to research on that as well. Go for the lowest interest rates. Number 4. Identify the best alternative. Of all the choices you have, what do you think is the best course of action? Once you have the sufficient information, you'll be able to decide which is best for you. During this step, take into consideration your biases. Are you biased towards certain brands because you have used it before? Again, going back to the decision of buying a car, when choosing which one to buy, consider if you are biased towards the car brand you've chosen. See reviews to verify if it's indeed the best for you before finalizing your choice. In this step, you will also need to consider the risks and rewards of your choices. This car might be cheaper, but it might not have a certain safety feature. Are you willing to spend more to get better additional features aside from your original criteria? These are decisions you have to make to identify the best alternative. Number 5. Develop and implement a plan of action. Once you've identified the best alternative, it's time to plan for how you will execute your decision. Create a step-by-step plan on how you will implement what you have decided on. It should include a timeline. Where will you buy the car? Will you apply for a loan first? Where are you getting the funds for the down payment and the monthly payment? When will you get all the paperwork done? Also, you should consider making a backup plan for any eventuality. What if the color of the car you want is not available? What if the bank gives you a higher loan rate? These are the questions you need to take note when making an action plan. Number 6. Evaluate and monitor the solution. After executing the decision, next step would be to evaluate how you did. Did you feel you made the right choice? Or could you have made a different, better choice? Evaluate how the decision affected your life. Could you have made a better decision knowing what you know now? What are the lessons you've learned? What are the things you can improve on? This part is often taken for granted, as many would think that since the decision is done, no point in going back to it. Even though it's correct that the decision is done, you are still able to learn more by looking back on how you handled the decision-making process. So, that's how you make better life decisions. Which one is missing from your current process? Is it establishing all the criteria or the evaluation part? Let's discuss in the comments. If you liked today's video, leave a like and subscribe for weekly topics about life in general.